One of the great things about working at WHAS was the wide latitude I was given in the area of special productions. My Sunday show won quite a few awards for creativity in programming. Maybe my successes might have been the reason for the wide latitude, but for whatever the reason it was, I took advantage of it.
It gives me great pleasure now to rebroadcast a program that was originally presented here on the Jim Ferguson Show in late August of 1974. Well Done from the Green Torino is the title of the program, and since the time it was broadcast, this program has won awards from AFTRA, the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. It was voted Best Feature or Human Interest News Story in Louisville for 1974, and also the coveted Best Overall Radio Programming Award. Well Done from the Green Torino.
Well Done from the Green Torino, a first-hand look at our Louisville Police Department in action. This story involves bank robbers, an attempted jailbreak, numerous vehicle tails, a motel surveillance, and culminated in a stakeout of the Louisville Police Headquarters building itself. This could have become a major news story. The potential was there. Could have, but didn't. Thus, it isn't something that you will normally hear or read about, because what we normally hear or read about is something sufficiently unusual to make it news. This isn't news in that context, because through the professionalism of the Louisville Police Department, there was no bloodshed, nothing to give basis for a headline, just a routine, if slightly unusual, bit of coordinated police work. And sometimes this, too, deserves more attention and credit than it normally gets. My introduction to the story began in the early morning hours of Tuesday, August 20th, as I drove my Green Torino through the streets of Louisville. A voice cracked through the police monitor. That Green Torino has just entered the area again. A few seconds later, another voice. Okay, maintain surveillance. As I passed in back of the city police department building, in the city employee parking lot, I noticed two men in a parked car. I noticed the time, 2:30 a.m. Curious if it was a reference to my Green Torino, I started to make another pass through the area. Halfway around the block, another voice, a new voice, from the police radio. That Green Torino is now at the corner of 7th and Jeff. And then I had the realization that indeed it was my Green Torino they were referring to, and that the Louisville Police Headquarters building was completely surrounded and was being staked out. An unusual circumstance, to say the least. I pulled up in front of the building. That Green Torino is just parked in front of headquarters. The next 2 hours I spent listening and watching. There apparently was not only a stakeout at police headquarters, but two other vehicles were involved in another part of town. A Volkswagen passed by and pulled in down the street. A request was made for registration on a license plate. My license plate. The reply comes back. Frankfurt has no record. Local Louisville files have no record. I think things take a long time when you live in Shelby County and buy a new car. Silence. And then, well, that's not unusual for an unmarked official car, is it? No, that would be normal, the reply. I rested somewhat easier now, knowing at least there was some positive suspicion that I might be on their side. The two men in the Volkswagen down the street got out, stood by the car. Then one walked to an alley across from headquarters. A few minutes later, I detected movement in the building under construction across the street from headquarters. At last I knew where my surveillance was being made from. What's the status on the Green Torino? He appears to be drinking a cup of coffee, sir. A long silence, and then, the subjects will be in the area at 5:30. I checked my watch, 4:45 a.m. Oh well, I've waited this long, might as well hang on. Another voice. All units hold your positions. Another long stretch of silence, and then some kind of unusual, unintelligible traffic on the radio. Movement rustling around. Someone apparently had inadvertently keyed up a two-way radio. And then an intelligible voice, a very tired voice, a frustrated voice, off mic, said, "Well, I wish they'd blip or get off the pot." The noise continued for a while and then ceased. Perhaps the officer changed his position in the vehicle. I wondered how representative that unintentional comment might have been for all concerned at that time. I changed my position and tried to get comfortable. And I realized that after 3 or 4 hours of just sitting, there is no comfortable position. 5:30 came, and with it, a voice. Subject's car is now passing in front of police headquarters. The car passed by, down to Market, around the block. Subject's now at 7th and Jeff. Female subject now walking towards the front of headquarters. A blonde female passed by my car and into the front of police headquarters. Vehicle is now proceeding down Market. Another voice. Okay, maintain surveillance on the vehicle. 2 or 3 minutes passed, and then subject now coming out of headquarters and walking south on 7th toward Jeff. Another voice. Where's the subject's car? Coming up on 7th and Jeff. Okay, get the girl and get the car. Suddenly that little Volkswagen that I had seen earlier reappeared, turned the wrong way up 7th, and blocked a car at the intersection of 7th and Jeff. The girl was now standing at the corner. She started to turn and walk away. An officer out of the Volkswagen started to cross the street, 38 in hand. She stopped, turned back towards the intersection. She had a large white purse. The officer quickly pushes the purse aside and in a flash has her handcuffed. The whole group then begins to move towards police headquarters. When even with my car, a voice in the crowd, check out that subject in the green Torino now. I handed the officer my card. He said he was just checking. I said, who did you get? He said nothing. Later, I talked with Major Sam Hicks, Inspectional Services Division of the Louisville Police Department, the one who headed up the operation. What was it all about? When did it begin?
Well, we had received information from Lieutenant Whittick, who is the late watch commander in the city jail, that an attempt had been made to bribe a jail guard. The jail guard had reported the bribe to the commanding officer, Lieutenant Whittick, where a prisoner in our jail charged with bank robbery wanted to pay him a sum of money to allow his wife to smuggle a gun into the jail to him. Lieutenant Whittick contacted me at home, told me of the situation that we had and might possibly have an attempt to get the gun in or to shoot the prisoner out of jail.
About what time did this occur?
I was notified at about 1:45. This was on the wee hours of the morning of the 19th. So I told Lieutenant Whittick that I would come to police headquarters immediately, which I did. We determined from the jail guard that a sum of money had been given to him by the wife of the prisoner who was confined in the jail, and that the only thing that needed to be arranged was when she was supposed to bring the pistol to get it into the jail. We was under the impression then that it was supposed to be in the wee hours of the morning on this particular night. We waited until about 4 a.m. in the morning. No attempt was made to bring the weapon in. We got with the jail guard at about 4 o'clock in the morning and made arrangements with him that should the prisoner contact him again, that he would tell him that this was not enough money, that he would have to come up with some more money if he wanted to get the pistol in. By this time, we were positive that the money that he had received was money taken in the bank robbery here on May the 17th because of the bills being in consecutive numbers and things of that nature. And we felt at that time that there was a chance that we might be able to recover more of the money if we could find where it was at. And by having the jail guard to pretend that he wanted more money, that we could put a surveillance on the wife and possibly follow her to where the money was hidden. So later, approximately 12:15, she called again, stating that she was unable to get the money, that she hadn't got the money yet, that she was waiting for it. She wanted to go through with the deal, but she hasn't got the money yet. So we continued the surveillance, continued everybody staked out. So So we received a couple of more calls. The jail guard received a couple more calls from her, stating that the money had not arrived at the Western Union. And at this time, we thought that possibly it might be a stall, that they were trying to get the gun in without coming up with any more money. So at about 10 minutes to 5, after she had been to headquarters, I think at that time on 3 different occasions, which turned out to be a dry run on all 3 occasions, we had contact with her. She stated that she could not get the money. At that time, the jail guard stated to her that he would be going off duty at 6:30 and that he would be off for the next 2 nights. And if they were going to do anything, it had to be now or he was going to forget the whole thing.
He already had in his possession or in your possession $5,000.
No, we had a sum of money, but not $5,000. So he told her, says, okay, bring the gun and come on, meet me in the canteen at 5:30. So at about 5:32 a.m. in the morning, she got off the elevator on the 3rd floor and started toward the canteen. At this time, she appeared to be nervous and was doing quite a bit of looking, and as chance would have it, she spotted one of the people involved in the surveillance. She ran to the elevator and attempted to get away, and of course we caught her on Jefferson Street, and also the male companion that had been driving the car had been bringing her back to headquarters and taking her back to the motel. At this time, they were placed under arrest. She was charged with having stolen money in her possession and or armed robbery, carrying concealed deadly weapon, and attempting to aid another to escape jail. He was charged with armed robbery and or knowingly receiving stolen property and attempting to aid an escape from jail.
When you originally became aware of the plot, was there any thought that it might be, this direction obviously was a payoff inside, supposedly, type of an operation. Was there thought that it might become something other than that, with more force involved at 5:30 in the morning, where that there might have been an optional plan?
Right. We weren't certain at all. I might add that you had us concerned.
I realize.
When I received word that an automobile had circled the block several times, and then the word come through that the automobile is now pulling up and parking in front of police headquarters, and of course you were being observed through field glasses, and it says the man appears to have a white bag on the front seat of his automobile. At this time, because there had been some difficulty, or appeared to be some difficulty in obtaining the money, we thought that possibly they might have called someone to borrow the money from, an accomplice or someone that they knew that they could get money from, and that they had told them to meet them here, and that you were the man that they were meeting with the bag.
This has been a first-hand look at our Louisville Police Department in action. A small thank you to the department for all the professional police work that goes on, most times unnoticed. Well done from the Green Torino.